Hello, thank you for joining me today. This is going to be about a 60-minute sequence for kind of getting your blood pumping and really moving our bodies a lot. I'll be mentioning some potential modifications, but just throughout the entire practice, listen to your own body. Use modifications that work best for you. Also, if you have something else in your practice where you'd like to take a position further, you know your practice, you know your body best. So we'll begin today's practice in a comfortable seated position. That said, if this position is not comfortable for you, you can always use your props. You could use blocks underneath your knees to raise those knees up a little bit. You could sit on a block or roll up a blanket and put that blanket underneath your hips just to raise your hips up a little bit higher so that your ankles are a little bit lower than your hips, and that might make a seated position more comfortable for you. Or you can have your legs outstretched, really whatever works best for you. And we'll begin with just some breathing, noticing your natural breath as it comes in and out, just easy and noticing. And then we start to deepen the breath. Breathing in for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, and out. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a good time if you'd like to set an intention for this class, for something that you're hoping to accomplish or get out of it. Peace of mind, forgiveness of yourself or others, increased flexibility or strength. Really any intention that you have, feel free to focus on that now as we call our attention to the breath. And if at any point during the practice you notice that your mind starts to wander, you can either bring your attention back to that intention or bring your attention back to your breathing. And again, breathing in for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top. 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4. One more time. Hold and out. You might notice that ocean sound if you're taking a constriction in the back of your throat. Hold and out. One more. Hold and out. Rolling forward, planting your palms on the mat, coming to your hands and knees in the center of your mat. Wrists are directly below your shoulders and knees are directly below your hips. Really feeling strong throughout those pressure points on the mat. And we'll be warming up right now our core and our spine with a few cat-cows. So arching your spine like a scared cat, bringing that spine up toward the sky, and then tracing a long line with your nose toward the front of your mat or the front of the room, allowing your belly to sink down and back up, curving that spine and sinking your belly down for cow. 2 more times, curving your spine up for cat. And tracing that line with your nose out for cow. Last one, curving your spine. And extending down toward the earth with your belly. Back into table. We're going to thread the needle, so raising your right hand up toward the sky, pressing your left palm into the earth, allowing your right hand to come through that space that was created, resting your right shoulder down on the mat, and taking whatever location for your left hand is comfortable for you. You can leave it here underneath your shoulder, walk it toward the front of your mat, or you can take a slight bind, allowing your left arm to come across your lower back. Whichever arm position is most comfortable for you. We'll be here for a few breaths. Just appreciating that stretch across the upper back, through the side body. Last breath. Left hand replants underneath your shoulder, untwist, extending up toward the sky again, and planting that right palm back on the mat. And same thing on the opposite side. Left hand extends up toward the sky. Starting to get those twists in. Right palm is planted firmly on the earth. And then left hand goes under the body, extending out. And your left shoulder comes to the mat. Probably taking the same variation as you took on the other side as far as where your right hand is. Again, it could be under your shoulder, extended out, or wrapped around for a slight bind at your lower back. Feel free to close your eyes or soften your gaze. Two more breaths. Replant your right palm, untwist, extending up toward the sky, and both palms plant on the mat. We'll move into bird dog. So your left palm is going to stay directly below your shoulder. Right hand extends out like you're shaking someone's hand at the opposite wall, and your left foot is extending out toward the back of the room. The sole of your foot is flexed as if it's planting on the wall behind you, and you'll be in this position. We're going to take our elbow toward our knee. It's okay if they don't touch. What we're focusing on is curving our spine. And we'll extend back out for that long straight line all the way from your heel to your fingertips, and tucking back in, elbow to knee. Extend back out. We'll do that 3 more times, tucking in. Your gaze might be toward your knees when we're tucked in. And extending out, that flexed foot. Long straight line, tucking in, extending out, and one more, tucking in, extending out. Replant your palm and your knee, and we'll switch sides. Left hand extends out, right foot extends out and is flexed. Long straight line all the way from your fingertips to your heel, and we'll be curving in, elbow to knee, extending out, elbow to knee, extending out, 3 more. In and out. Tucking in, curving that spine, extending out. And go ahead and replant your palm, and your knee will be coming down toward your mat, all the way down, continuing to warm up that spine. We'll be taking some cobra and upward dog variations. We'll be referencing these a few times throughout practice. So now's a good time to see a few different options. So anytime I say upward dog or cobra, you know that any of these have equal benefits and are equally good options, whichever feels most comfortable for you. And so for baby cobra, our hands are directly under our shoulders. Our hips and our tops of our feet are planted firmly into the mat. Really strong through the legs, maybe your kneecaps lift. But right now our focus will be our upper back muscles are going to be lifting our shoulders off of the mat, really extending out through the crown of the head. Really long neck, very little weight in the palms. You can actually lift your hands off of the mat. Go ahead and lower back down, right cheek to your mat. We'll do that again, peeling the shoulders up. Again, very little weight in your hands. Extending long through your neck. Crown of the head is toward the wall in front of you. Gaze is down at the mat. And lower back down, left cheek to your mat. Now we'll take cobra. So starting the same way we did, just peeling those shoulders up, but then applying a little bit of pressure through your palms. And for all of these, you're keeping your elbows close to your body, pressing up, extending that upper body, really long. Crown of the head is toward the sky. And lower back down, right cheek to your mat. We'll take cobra one more time. Peeling the shoulders up, keeping your elbows close to your sides, pressing through your palms. Hips and thighs are still on the ground for this one. Go ahead and lower back down. And now we'll take the upward dog variation. So again, planting your palms. But for this variation, your wrists will be directly under your shoulders, but thighs will be off of the mat. Hips and thighs are lifted for upward dog. Long straight line. Still really extending out through your back, up through your crown, all the way to the sky, and lower back down. So all of those are good variations. We'll go ahead and switch into downward dog at this time. So pressing through your palms, allowing your hips to float up toward the sky. First downward dog of this practice, so we'll walk our dog a little bit, allowing your knees to bend as much as you need to, extending long through your spine, really flattening that back, pointing the tailbone up like an upside down V shape with your body, keeping as much bend as you need in your knees in order to have a long straight spine. Head and neck are hanging loose. Broaden through your upper back. Trying to allow your arms not to hug so tightly toward your ears, so really keeping those shoulders and upper back broad. Options for downward dog. If this is a lot for your arms or your shoulders, you can always take this on your knees, extending down for puppy dog pose, or rocking back for child's pose. All of those are good options anytime we mention downward dog during this practice. So just know that you can always do what feels best for your body on this day, in this moment. Gaze toward the front of your mat and step toward your hands. Take as many steps as you need, coming into forward fold. Again, bend as much as you need to through your legs in order to allow your spine to relax. Nice, juicy forward fold. Allowing for your spine to just release. Again, head hangs loose. Come up to flat back. As the name implies, the goal for this is for your back to be flat, a long straight line. Again, feel free to use props. If having your hands up on blocks helps you with that long straight spine, brings the ground a little closer to your hands, absolutely a good option. Or you can leave your hands against your shins, your knees, your thighs, whatever's most comfortable for you. Maybe your hands are touching the ground. Absolutely, any of those are fine when we say flat back. These are all good options. Back down to forward fold. Reverse swan all the way up. And so now we'll be using a number of those. When we're all the way here in mountain, my hands are extended up. If this is a lot for your shoulders, go ahead and have your hands in front of you or at heart center. For now, we'll be all the way up in a strong mountain pose, rooting our feet down into the earth. Go ahead and fold forward. Up to flat back. Forward fold, planting your palms, bending your knees, and stepping back to plank position. When we're in plank, you're always welcome to take plank on your knees. The main idea is, regardless if you're on your toes or your knees, we're making a long straight line. So on my knees, that line of energy is from my knees all the way up through the crown of my head. My gaze is down toward the mat. Or if you're up on your toes, that long straight line is all the way from your heels to the crown of your head. In either variation, your wrists are directly under your shoulders. And when we're in this plank position, we'll be moving through some chaturangas. And so you can absolutely take those on your knees or on your toes. I'll show this variation on my knees, bending at the elbows, keeping your elbows really close to your body as we move down toward the mat. Chaturanga people, you're welcome to just take your regular chaturanga here, pressing into cobra, and then pressing through your palms all the way back to downward dog or puppy pose. We'll all meet in downward dog in order to walk toward the front of our mat. Forward fold. And flat back. Forward fold. All the way up. Rooting down through your feet, extending up through your hands. A strong mountain pose. And repeating that sequence, forward fold, flat back, forward fold, planting your palms, bending your knees, stepping back to plank. Again, you can take this on your knees if you'd like. Chaturanga, lowering down toward the mat, and then pressing up for upward dog or cobra. Again, in your upward dog, you really want to check that your shoulders are directly over your wrists, and then switching your feet, pressing back to your palms, lifting that tailbone high for downward dog. Gaze to the front of your mat. Take as many steps as you'd like to get to the front of your mat. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Reverse swan up to mountain pose. We'll be adding on here, mountain pose, forward fold, flat back, forward fold, plant your palms, stepping back to plank. Again, you can take this on your knees, chaturanga, upward dog, downward dog. And now we'll be taking three-legged dog, raising your right heel up toward the sky and bringing your knee toward your nose in order to step forward into a lunge. Right now, our heel is lifted on that back foot, right foot is planted firmly in the earth, left hand stays planted while our right hand extends up toward the sky. Getting a nice twist. Strong line from one hand all the way through to the other hand. Replanting your right hand, both hands on the ground, just to recenter yourself, and then coming up to a high lunge. In this high lunge, both of our hips are going to be facing forward. Our back heel is lifted. Hands can be toward the sky or at heart center, absolutely, always a good option. Bringing both hands back down to the mat, stepping back to plank, chaturanga, upward dog, downward dog, and taking that on the opposite side. So left heel lifts to the sky. For knee to nose, really curving that spine, and then planting your left foot near your hands. Right palm will stay on the mat. Left hand extends up to the sky. You are welcome to take these lunges with your back knee on the mat. I'm demonstrating them with my back knee lifted, whatever works best for you. And plant both palms just to recenter yourself, and coming all the way up for a high lunge. You might notice that when I'm coming up into a high lunge, I'm bringing my hands out to the side. Some people prefer to bring their hands up toward the front for this. For me, it's just a little bit easier balance-wise to bring the hands out to the side as I'm raising them up. Whatever works best for you and whatever your shoulders are speaking to today. Our knee is over our ankle. Front leg is strong, bent. Our back leg can be straight, or you can have a bend in that back knee. Absolutely fine. Planting your hands back down to the mat, stepping back to plank, taking your chaturanga. Again, can be on your knees or on your toes. Upward dog, downward dog. Gaze to the front of your mat. Step or hop up to your hands, forward fold. Flat back. Forward fold. And now we're going to sink those hips back, coming up to chair pose. When you gaze down, you should notice that your knees are level with each other. Your Gaze is able to see your toes down on your mat. Your hips are back. Your weight is in your heels. Again, your arms can be up like this, or they can be down at your heart center. And coming into forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Reverse swan dive all the way up to mountain pose. We'll take that sequence one more time. Mountain pose. Forward fold. Halfway lift for flat back. Planting your hands on the mat, step or hop or plank. Chaturanga, lowering down to the mat, elbows close to your body, pressing through the palms for cobra or upward dog. And then shifting your hips up to the sky for puppy pose or downward dog. Right heel lifts to the sky for three-legged dog. Long straight line from your palms all the way through your spine. Tucking that knee toward your nose, arching the spine, planting your right foot. Right hand lifts, left palm is planted. Both hands to the mat. Coming up for high lunge. Both hands to your mat, stepping back for plank, lowering for chaturanga, and pressing up for upward dog or cobra. Shifting the hips up toward the sky, downward dog, and the other side, left heel lifts, three-legged dog, knee to nose, planting the left foot. For a low lunge, again, remember you can take this with your back knee down if you'd like. Twisting your lunge open, left hand extends up toward the sky, right palm is planted. Replant your left hand, coming up to your high lunge. Really using those feet, pressing them away from each other, almost like you're trying to rip the mat in half. Planting both palms back down, stepping back to plank, chaturanga. Again, you can take this on your knees if you'd like. Upward dog and downward dog. Gaze is toward the front of your mat. Step or hop up to your hands. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Flat back. Long line through the crown of your head and sinking back, forward fold. Sinking into chair pose, allowing those hips to shift back. Knees stay over your ankles. You might have a slight tuck in your lower back. Arms can extend up to the sky or at heart center. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. And reverse swan all the way up to mountain pose. And we'll be moving into some warrior two sequence. Forward fold. Flat back. Planting your palms. Stepping back to plank. take your chaturanga or just meet us in downward dog, lowering down, upward dog, and downward dog. From downward dog here, we're gonna raise that right heel and stepping through, we'll be coming all the way up for warrior two. In warrior two, our shoulders are going to be over our hips. Arms are extending out, long and strong. Your placement of your feet, you'll notice that your focus is on the right foot, the front foot, having a nice bent knee on that right foot, and your knee is not leaning in towards your front body, but really is tracking over your toes. From warrior two, we'll reverse that warrior. Like your right palm is high-fiving the wall behind you. Back to warrior two. And extended side angle, leaning toward the front of the room and extending your left palm all the way over your head. Your right elbow can be on your knee, but very little weight in that right elbow, really making a long straight line. And both legs straighten, coming into reverse triangle. Back to warrior two, and both palms plant on the mat, stepping back to plank, chaturanga, or meet us in downward dog. Lowering for chaturanga, upward dog, and downward dog. Same thing on the other side, so left heel lifts. Tucking and curling to plant the foot in a low lunge. And coming all the way up for warrior two on the opposite side. Again, your shoulders are going to be directly over your hips. Arms are long and straight. Your gaze can be in front of you or tracking over your left hand. Knee is bent and is tracking directly over your toes. Reverse your warrior. Your right hand can come down toward your leg or can take a wrap behind your lower back. Gaze is up. Back to warrior two. Extended side angle. Again, very little weight in this left elbow if it's resting on your knee. Long straight line all the way from the knife edge of your right foot all the way up to your fingertips. And coming up for warrior two and straightening that front leg, coming to reverse triangle. Back to warrior two, and cartwheeling your hands down, coming back to a lunge and stepping back for plank pose. Again, you can meet us in downward dog or take your vinyasa, upward dog, downward dog, gazes to the front of the mat, step or hop up to your hands, forward fold, flat back, forward fold, and all the way up to mountain pose. Taking a forward fold and just stepping back into downward dog. We'll be meeting in tabletop position. enjoying that feeling of being grounded closer to the earth, we're going to just take a moment to catch our breath and recenter. Take a couple of cat-cows if you like. And we'll be moving toward focusing a little bit more on our core and some inversions. Recenter yourself at tabletop position, and we'll take bird dog like we did in the beginning, but our focus now will be really on that core. Long straight line from your right hand that's extended, your left heel extended behind you, and then taking your knee towards your elbow, exhaling strongly when you come in while you're curving that spine. Belly button is pressing up into your spine and extend out. Curving in, knee to elbow. Hold, 2, 3, extend out. Curving in, knee to elbow. 2, 3, extend out. 2 more times. Curving in and out. Last one, knee to elbow, 2, 3, extend out, and replant your right palm, your left knee, and we'll take that on the other side. Extending your left hand out like you're shaking someone's hand in front of you. Sole of your right foot is flexed, like you're planting your foot on the wall behind you. And then we're curving to bring knee to elbow. It's okay if they don't touch. Strong exhale. Extend out. Inhale. Exhale. 2, 3. Extend out. Exhale. 2, 3, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Last one. And replant your palm and your knee. Go ahead and cross your ankles, rocking back to a seated position, recentering yourself in the center of your mat. Go ahead and ensure that your sits bones are firmly planted, maybe pulling the fleshy part of your skin away. Coming into a seated position, long straight spine. The crown of your head is extending up toward the sky. And then we will be tilting back slightly, coming into boat pose, keeping that long straight spine the whole time we're in this position. A lot of options for while we're in boat pose. So we can have the shins of our legs parallel to the floor and the ceiling. Arms can be extended out. They can be holding the backs of your hamstrings. They can be planted on the ground behind you. Our focus here is the whole time going to be on having a long straight spine, really supporting yourself through your core, extending the crown of your head up toward the ceiling. And we're going to hold boat for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Toes to the mat, hands to your knees. Oh, there's that long straight spine. If we lost that straight spine at all, now's the time to re-find it. We will be taking boat again. We'll try and keep this long straight spine the whole time. Taking either the same variation as you took before, or if you're a boat aficionado, you can straighten your knees, have your toes pointed, whatever works best for your body on this day, in this moment, holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, don't forget to breathe, 2, 1, hands to your knees, toes to the mat. And we'll be rocking all the way back to the mat. If you need to move forward in order to land fully on the mat, rocking back one vertebra at a time, coming all the way down to the earth, allowing the earth to fully support you, really appreciating the feeling of groundedness, noticing your breath, allowing it to come back to a calmer state. We'll be coming to bridge, so our heels are going to be close to our fingertips. Our femurs are going to stay parallel to each other the whole time. We're not going to be rocking our knees out to the sides, really keeping those feet parallel to each other and legs parallel to each other. As we're coming into bridge, we'll be tucking our tailbone first and lifting the pelvis toward the sky, and then allowing our front body to open up. A lot of different options while we're in bridge. If you're a wheel person, we'll be taking bridge a few times, so you have time if you'd like to take wheel, if that's in your practice. The rest of us will be taking bridge 3 times, pressing strongly through the soles of your feet. Our feet are going to be our powerhouse in this position, and extending through the front body. You can walk your shoulders underneath you a little bit if you want a little bit more opening through your front body. Now we'll walk them back out and coming back to the mat, one vertebra at a time. Tailbone is the last to meet the mat. And coming back up into bridge again. Tailbone lifts first, pelvis lifts toward the sky. Shoulders might walk under you a little bit, and if you would like, you can press those palms together, possibly interlacing the fingers, allowing your triceps to press strongly into the earth, just to give you a little bit more opening. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Walk those shoulders out from underneath you, coming down from the top of the spine all the way down to the tailbone. Last one, lifting the hips all the way up toward the sky, walking the shoulders underneath you. Palms are possibly meeting underneath you. Maybe you're interlacing your fingers, pressing those triceps into the earth. Really feeling that strength through your legs. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And this was our last bridge. So if you were in wheel, now is the time to make your way out. Lowering to the mat. Bringing those knees in to your chest. Hugging them toward you with your hands, possibly rocking side to side, allowing the earth to gently provide you with a little massage. And we'll go ahead and keep one knee in toward our chest, extend our left leg out long. Right knee is up toward your armpit, and then extending your arms out to a T, allowing your right knee to cross over your body toward the earth. Your shoulders are going to stay connected with the mat. Keeping those shoulders to the mat is more important than where your knee ends up. Your gaze can be straight up at the ceiling or over your right hand. Really easing into that twist. If you need a little bit more support, you can have a block under your knee. You can also take a lot of different variations in twists. So you could bring your other leg up to be bent and have it underneath your top leg. Whatever feels best for you. This is your practice, your time. Bringing both knees up to your chest. Extending that right leg long. Left knee is toward your armpit. Allowing your left leg to cross over your body. All your arms extend out in a T position. Again, probably taking the same variation as you took on the other side. Noticing that your body might feel different on this side than it did on the other side. Bodies are almost never symmetrical. It's not judging your body, just noticing. Sometimes our body might need a little more time or a little more ease on one side, or some additional props or a variation on one side. Bringing both knees in toward your chest. Coming into happy baby. So grasping either the outside edge of your feet or your peace fingers hooking around your big toes. Your feet are flexed like you're planting the soles of your feet on the ceiling above you. Arms are inside of your knees. Your knees are bent. They might not be as bent as mine are right now. Your happy baby might look more like this. Absolutely okay. Take this wherever it feels best for you, and whatever part of your body is calling out to you right now for a little extra love, a little extra time. Options in happy baby. You can rock gently side to side. We're not going to aggressively rock this baby, just gentle, slow movements. If you like, you can extend one leg out and then the other. Maybe feeling that love in your hamstrings a little bit if that's where you're needing some additional attention. Bringing your attention back to your breath. Maybe revisiting your initial intention for this class. Deep breath in. Two more breaths. Last one. Bringing those knees together, hugging your legs in toward you, tucking into a tight ball. And then bringing your hands to the back of your legs, going to go ahead and rock as many times as you would like to come back up to a seated position. Again, allowing the earth to massage your spine. We're going to take some forward folds. First one is bound angle. So your feet can be as close or as far from your groin as you would like. We're making a diamond shape on the mat in front of you. If it's more comfortable for you, You can have blocks under those knees. For support, our focus is going to be, you've heard it before, a long straight spine. And as we tilt forward, your hands can be wherever you need them. Some people like them on their shins or on their feet, possibly opening the soles of your feet like you're reading a little book. As we extend forward, some people walk their hands ahead of them, some keep their hands on their feet, really just focusing on that long straight spine, crown of your head extending toward the far side of the room. Gaze is at the ground, ahead of your feet, like you're trying to gaze into a little pond. Maybe you see a reflection. Maybe you see a little fish. And coming all the way back up, extending the crown of your head long. We'll be extending your right leg out, keeping the left close to your groin, and extending, sliding that right hand along the inside of the right leg, extending the left hand over to stretch through your left side body. Really enjoying and appreciating that opportunity to stretch muscles that worked hard during this practice. All the way back up, straight spine. Rotate so that you're facing your right foot and extend down, allowing your hands to fall wherever feels best for you. Some people like a strap for this wrapped around the sole of their foot, but really the key is not to force it. Finding a little more length when you inhale, a little more softness as you exhale. All the way back up and switching your feet, giving that same attention to your left side. Your left foot is going to stay flexed, left hand slides along your inside of your left leg. Your right hand is extending toward the sky or over your head. A long stretch through your right side body. Some people who are very flexible might be grasping their toes with their right hand. All the way back up. And rotate to face that left foot, extending down, again keeping the long straight spine, but noticing this stretch in a different part of your back. Again, not forcing it, just allowing it to soften. Finding a little more length when you inhale, a little more softness when you exhale. Again, if you're using a strap, you might be holding that strap along the sole of your foot. But really just enjoying it. Coming all the way back up. Bringing your feet back in front of you. And rolling all the way down to your mat. Tucking into another ball. And allowing your body to relax, bringing both feet all the way to the mat. Softening your gaze, option to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. Some people like for their feet to move to the opposite corners of the lower end of their mat. We'll be moving into our final resting pose, Shavasana. We'll be here for about 6 minutes. I will be sitting up to guide you through this pose, but you can stay here in a reclined position for the entire 6 minutes, or you're welcome to sit up if that's more comfortable for you. You can move your legs into a different position. I just ask that you remain on your mat for the entire time, that entire 6 minutes, really just allowing your body to soak up all of the benefits of the practice from today. Showing yourself that love, that appreciation, and just taking this time to rest. Relaxing the crown of your head, relaxing your forehead, relaxing your eyebrows, allowing your eyes to sink down into their sockets, possibly bringing a slight smile onto your lips, allowing your tongue to fall away from the roof of your mouth. Relaxing your neck and your shoulders. Allowing your belly to fall down toward your spine. Feeling the earth support your spine. Relaxing your hips. Feeling your arms and your legs heavy against the earth. Relaxing your hands. Relaxing your feet. And rest. You are welcome to remain here for as long as you'd like. Go ahead and wiggle your fingers and your toes when you're ready. Bringing that awareness back into the room, back into your space. Rotating those ankles, those wrists. Extending your arms out above your head for a good morning stretch. Toes and hands are reaching in opposite directions. then when you're ready, relax over onto your favorite side, allowing your bicep to cushion your head, knees to stack on each other. Really giving yourself a moment of appreciation for yourself for taking this time to come to your mat today. Recalling your intention for the practice. Possibly fluttering your gaze open if your eyes were closed. Allowing yourself time to adjust to the light in your space. Pressing through your left hand, coming up to a seated position. We'll close our practice with a community breath. Hands to heart center. Inhale for 4. Hold. And exhale. The love and the light in me honors and appreciates the love and the light in each of you. May there be peace in your heart, peace in your words, and peace in your thoughts. Namaste.